Hello and welcome to the Global Sports Channel. I'm your host Mark Philpott and it's great to have you all with us today. If you are a regular listener and viewer of the show, thank you very much for coming back and watching another episode. I hope by now that you've hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel and that you've signed up to all of our social media platforms under Global Sports Channel. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And don't forget to drop a comment about this video or other videos that we've put out there. There's plenty of sports content on all of our different pages. Now, we're going to be releasing very shortly, or by the time you actually watch this video, a new platform called loveathletes.com. And what this platform is all about is our ambitions to help sports people across the world who have great ambitions to be a professional sports person or who are a professional sports person and they're finding it fairly tough to manage their sports career today. Loveathletes.com is going to provide support to these athletes across the world, no matter what their age, their gender, or what their geographical location is. And we're starting off by doing a global trial. So there's going to be a group of hand-picked athletes that come onto the loveathletes.com platform, and we're going to be able to follow their journey by doing videos like today, but also they're going to be updating the page with their training stories, their competition stories, and all of their different results as they progress through their professional sports career. So exciting new innovation that we're trying to bring to the sports world, and it all starts right here on the Global Sports Channel. On today's show, we're going to meet a young tennis player, a female tennis player, in fact, who's originally from the UK. She's not there today. She's going to be talking to us from another country. We'll find out exactly where that is shortly. And she's going to be telling us all about her tennis dreams and ambitions and what she's already done in the world of tennis. So let's get over and meet our guest for the day right now. So it's a very warm welcome to the Global Sports Channel today to Cheri Darley. Cheri, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic and probably a lot more relaxed than you because I just haven't come off the tennis court after doing a practice this morning. You've already been out there hitting some tennis balls.
Yeah, for an hour and a half, and hopefully I'll get back soon.
Fantastic. Well, we're not going to keep you too long here on the Global Sports Channel, but we're really excited to have a chat to you today because you're one of our global trialists in the Love Athletes program that we're launching. And you're going to be representing the sport of tennis in that program. Are you excited to be part of this Love Athletes program? I guess it's all a bit of a new thing for you, not too sure what it's all about.
Yeah, I am very excited to see how it goes and see how far we can get with it.
Well, fantastic. We've got lots of sports fans around the world watching this interview, so I'm sure after they hear about your journey in the world of tennis, they're going to be excited to support you in all sorts of ways. So why don't we start at the beginning? How old were you and why did you get into the sport of tennis?
So I started when I was around about 6, and I got into the sport of tennis because when my friend said, "Oh my God, that looks fun, let's try it." So we went down to, it was a family club, so we actually already knew quite a lot of people there. So we went down and we started playing, and my friend ended up saying, "Oh, it's boring," and I ended up loving it. So I just kept on going. It was only started off twice a week, it was nothing.
Yeah. And
then from on then we just exceeded a bit more.
So what was it that you loved about it? Do you remember what was actually the attraction?
Well, I think it was just I just needed something to do and something to enjoy because I never enjoyed anything. And then all of a sudden I just got that one thing for that sport. It was quite a weird feeling, to be honest.
And do you like it because it's also a solo sport, although you can play doubles, of course, but do you like the fact that it's mainly a singles game?
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that you can even play singles or doubles, it's either an individual or double sport. You're not going to get bored of the same thing. You can always mix it up if you want to have a bit more fun.
Mm. So you started way back then when you were 6. Today you're talking to us from where exactly in the world?
Right now I'm in Spain, in Denia. But in England I was in Teesside, in David Lloyd's. That's exactly where I started. And then I moved to Middlesbrough, which is Tennis World. When I started playing nationals and stuff, I decided that I wanted to take it to the next level in a different club, like a proper tennis club, because David Lloyd's was just an all-round club with swimming, everything in. So I decided to take it to the next level and go to an actual tennis club, and they helped me a lot and a lot. And every time I go back to England, I still go back there to be with them. And then I moved to an academy in Spain. So that was in Alicante.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided to play loads of international tournaments, and I realized that I really enjoyed the life of traveling around the world, and playing matches and just enjoying them as well as giving my 100%.
So let's go back to when you were at David Lloyd's. When did you kind of decide that you wanted to get serious about it? How old were you then?
I was around about 10 or 11. I decided, okay, there wasn't that many people for me to play with there. So I said that I wanted to really push myself a little bit more. And I knew my other friend that I used to go to nationals with was also training at the tennis world. So I said, okay, they must be good players there for me to hit with. I really had a great bond with the coach that's there. So I was like, okay, yeah. And I really enjoyed it as soon as I got there. I knew that was such a good choice of mine to go.
How important do you think that bond with a coach is for somebody who's starting off and looking to get, guidance and support from a mentor in the beginning of their sports career? Do you think it's a really important thing?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a really, really important thing because as soon as I got that connection with him, I knew he was going to be there for me to help me get better. I knew he just didn't want the money. I knew he just didn't want to work. I just knew he wanted to help me and see how far I could get. So it really motivated me a lot more.
So is it easy to find a coach like that? Did you have a try out with several coaches, or were you just lucky that you found a great one then?
I was just lucky that I found a great one, to be honest. But obviously when I moved to the academy in Spain, I did realize who was there to help me exceed, and that was quite hard to find there. And then eventually I got through to the right person, the right coach in the end.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it can be a tricky journey, can't it? Just getting the right person to support you. You've got to be able to connect with each other. We're seeing a lot of that in the Olympic Games at the moment, with coaches looking after their athletes, and the relationships they've got are very obvious, whether it's a good one or, let's say, not such a good relationship. So did you have any role models in tennis? Do your parents play the game, or anybody else in the family?
No one in my family has ever been playing any sports at all. So it was actually kind of weird because my younger sister, we started at the same time playing tennis also. And my parents were like, oh, this is weird. No one else in our family likes sport apart from you both, and especially the same sport. And they did take us to gymnastics and other stuff like that, but we just really enjoyed tennis.
Yeah, right. Fantastic.
So it was good.
So how important was it in the UK having people like Tim Henman and Andy Murray and Heather Watson and people like this that are coming up in the game of tennis? Were those people that you looked up to?
Yeah, well, obviously, when I was younger, I really liked the clothes that Serena Williams was wearing. So that also motivated me so much. But yeah, I mean, now what's happening with Andy Murray, it shows great motivation that he's just had the hip operation. So that's also got me motivated a lot because I was injured last year, 6 months, my shoulder. So that also helped me a lot to see that he's back competing. Serena Williams just had a baby, she's back competing. So, I mean, in the world of sport, it's just everyone is just so dedicated.
So you draw a lot of inspiration and motivation from watching others go through difficult times and being able to motivate yourself by that.
Yeah. I mean, it really does help because when you see them out there, it's like if they did it, I can do it.
Now, how old are you today? Looks like the call cut out when I asked.
Right now I'm 17, and in December I will.
So you'll be 18 in December, is that right?
And in December I will be 18. Yeah.
Okay, so you've effectively been playing tennis for 12 years already, yeah?
Yeah, a long time. Everyone always asks me, "Do you never get tired of the sport?" Like a lot of my friends that don't really play any sports always ask me the same question. I'm like, no.
So what would you say you've learnt about yourself in that journey of 12 years since you've been playing tennis? What's it taught you as a human being?
Well, I must admit, like it's made me a lot more independent. I socialize with a lot more confident. That really helped, like traveling to international tournaments sometimes and getting round there on my own. Was just really special also. I mean, sometimes I went with my coach, but if I had to like go back before or anything like that, then I would have got like the train or the flight home. So it made me a lot more organized and mature.
Mm, mm. And what about how difficult the journey's been? Like when you first started out, did you realise how tough it was going to be to try and make it in the world of tennis?
No, I must admit, sometimes when I'm always like, oh, why did I choose this sport? Because obviously it's quite an up and down sport. And if you've got anything going on outside or any injury or anything, it's just always in the court when you're like losing or something. You just always like, why did I do this? Why am I playing? Why is this? And you just get loads of negative thoughts coming at you. So it is quite hard. So obviously it's made me a lot more mentally stronger.
Mm, mm. So what about other sports? Has there been other sports that you've been interested along the way, or has just tennis got you, addicted to it, and that's the only sport you ever want to do?
Yeah, I mean, so when I was at school, I played like rounders and hockey, and I did enjoy that a lot. But obviously, my main sport was just tennis all the time. But obviously, I would play for the school and the county and netball. So it was good. I mean, I did enjoy them sports because obviously it gives you a little rest of your own sport, like what you're doing, like a mentally rest. But in the end of it, I just was like, you know what, tennis is my sport.
That's your thing, yeah. So,
Yeah.
did you have dreams when you were younger that you wanted to, play on that centre court at Wimbledon and get round the other Grand Slams? Well, how old were you when you started thinking along those lines?
Probably as soon as I started.
Right.
I think it was like when I was 6, like when I was like after the first year. Obviously, the first year was just going and hitting the ball a little bit with my friends, but after that, I ended up realizing that I actually really did want to take it further, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be like Serena Williams. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I think I just really liked watching the matches and then seeing them like at the end like talk about what they've been through also. So,
Most sports are very different to play in real life versus watching them on television. Do you find that about tennis as well? It's a completely different game when you're on the tennis court versus watching it on television, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, when you're watching it, you're like, oh, it looks quite easy. It looks quite easy. And then when you're on the court, you get all your nose, everything just come all through.
Yeah, exactly. So you said you've been travelling to different places around the world playing. What was your first overseas tournament that you played in? Do you remember that one?
It was Morocco.
Morocco, okay. And how nervous and excited were you to go to Morocco for the first time to play in the tournament?
I was really, really excited because obviously it was the first ever thing. It was just a big thing for me. And then after that, obviously I went to Tunisia and a lot more places in Africa. And then every time I did it, like the first time that I went, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to put in my suitcase? Where's my tennis clothes? I need the right amount and all this. But then after that, I just kept on like saying, okay, I'm going to take all my tennis clothes. And then I just like, I knew what I needed to take. Where the first time I was just like, what do I take?
And did you have anyone travelling with you to those first tournaments?
Yeah, the coach at the academy, the one that you like chose, like who I had the best connection with, always came with us, so it was the best.
And have your mum and dad been able to travel much and watch you play?
Well, not now, basically, because of COVID and everything, because of all the tests and everything. It's quite a lot of money. so they haven't really been over. They've only ever watched me when I played like the internationals, but in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
So they also come and watch me, but they're good parents on the sideline, so they don't put any pressure on. So it's fine.
Oh, that's good. That's half the battle, isn't it? Having good sideline parents.
Yeah.
So why did you go to Africa? Yeah. Why did you choose to play in tournaments in Africa?
Because a lot of people, when they start playing tennis, to get confidence, they often go to Africa, and also to get used to being on your leg. Obviously, in going to Morocco is totally different to going to France or Italy, with the type of people, with everything there, with the food, with everything. So obviously, it's just a great startup to show you if you're not ready for this, then you're not ready for anything.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So that also brought my confidence up a lot more.
So a lot of people watching and listening to the show today, they won't be very familiar with the way that the tennis circuit works. So not everybody just goes straight into the WTA tour. There's a lot of other challenges to go along the way. So can you just explain to us what are the different steps that you need to take to get to the WTA tour?
So obviously you need to actually get your confidence fully up to play the ITF. So you start playing the nationals to help you get in there, and maybe they might give you a wild card for an ITF 15K, which is the first international tournament, like the first level, because normally you can't really get in them if they give you a wild card. And then if you get in without a wild card, maybe because someone's dropped out because of COVID or someone's dropped out because they're injured, then you can get in. And then once you win some points in there, like once you pass some rounds, then you'll get points on your rankings. Then you can go up to the next level, which is, you enter it, and if you get in, then you've done well. So then you go up to the ITF 25K, and then the same for that. Some people get wild cards if they play nationals, and then it goes to ITF 60 also. And then once you get your points and ranking up, then you can get into the WTA tournament.
Okay, good. So just for people listening and watching again, ITF, International Tennis Federation, that's what it stands for. And this is the circuit for the entry level and also those that are building their way up into the global tours that are going around the world for tennis. So what level are you at the moment, Cheri?
Right now I'm junior, so that's totally different compared to the WTA. This is like under 18, so I'm around about ITF 200 right now. So then next year I'm looking to be honest, after the COVID and everything, I decided that I wanted to play more women's now and start my next level up. This year I could have played in Wimbledon, but because of COVID and everything, it was just such a stress to get over there and sort everything out. So I couldn't really play in that this year. So now I've decided that I'm going to go on and start the women's, hopefully, because next year I'm going to university in Miami, in Florida. So also I will start playing older tournaments now, which will be the ITF 15K, which is the International Tennis Federation. So hopefully that will bring me up to the next level.
Yeah, wonderful. So what's the ambition overall? You want to get as far as you can into the top of women's tennis?
Yeah, obviously I want to keep on going on with my career, and still getting training in, everything in, still doing what I'm doing now, and just try and get to the top the best that I can.
Now, for anyone that's starting off in a sports career, it's very difficult from a lot of different reasons. It's emotionally difficult, it's physically difficult, but it's also financially difficult. How do you manage the financial side of your career at the moment? Have you got sponsors and people looking after helping you out financially?
Well, in England, it was actually really hard for stuff like that because where I was from, they quite, not favoritized, but they always looked at the people from down south, always, because all of the federation was there, all the national camps were there. So I had to travel 5 hours every Thursday just to go and train with the national team down south. So obviously I couldn't really get into that group because of where I was from, because I always kept on saying, okay, I can't really do that today because my mum literally can't take me. So obviously I haven't really had any help from England. And then when I moved to Spain, to the academy, I did get sponsored off Wilson, and they helped me out quite a lot. But now obviously I'm going to the university, and I won't be able to use the Wilson racket anymore.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Because in the university they don't choose who you want, but they have their own brand that you should use.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm sure if Roger Federer turned up at a university in America with his Wilson racket, they wouldn't say that he couldn't play with it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I can play with it, but I can't carry on with the contract.
Oh, okay. You've got to be aligned to whatever the university does. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So there's so much power and politics in the world of sport, isn't there? And you're already seeing it at your age, yeah?
Yeah. A lot of signing to do, a lot of everything. It's a big thing.
Yeah. So what about outside of sport? Have you continued to do, obviously, your education? What are you interested in from an academic point of view?
So actually going to university, I wanted to do pre-health for chiropodists, for the feet people.
Mm-hmm.
But then I didn't. For my A-levels, I did psychology and Spanish, so I didn't do anything to do with that. So I thought it would be really, really hard, especially if I want to train a lot. Then I won't have that much time for that studying time with that. So I'm going to do international business and sports management.
Okay, fantastic. So you'll learn a lot more about business as well as the sporting world as well.
Yeah, that's why I chose it.
So I'm interested to know, if someone of your age, have you already started thinking about what you might like to do after your tennis career, or you haven't put any energy into thinking about that at all?
I mean, obviously I hope I get top, and I hope I can play until I want to retire. But I don't think I'll ever be able to retire. So yeah, I mean, once that goes, then I will just, I don't think I would ever stop doing anything, because I get quite bored a lot. Like, I'm very hyperactive. I like to be doing tennis, or I like to be studying. I can't just sit still. So I think I would end up, once I retire from like being a top tennis player, then I will do sports management.
Okay. So looking after sports careers, like being an agent for athletes. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Well, you might be able to come and join us by that stage and help us set up our sports agency around the world as well.
Exactly.
So also really interested to know about some of the things that are going on at the Olympics at the moment. There's a lot of things on the mental health side. We've got Naomi Osaka, who has been, I guess, a very strong ambassador for mental well-being of athletes since she stepped away from the circuit this year. She's been knocked out in Tokyo, and that's also created another wave of discussion around her. What do you think of everything that's going on at the moment in relation to mental health and wellness of these athletes, particularly Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka?
Yeah, I mean, also because of COVID, it has affected a lot of people mentally. Not only that, I know quite a people, and I've been like this myself with people from outside of tennis, like betters people, like people that bet and stuff like that. Obviously then they won't stop messaging you saying you're rubbish and stay in the kitchen and all this. So they obviously, that is a big thing, really, sports. You have to be mentally strong, because eventually some people, obviously, they just take things too far. But I do understand where she's coming from with the mental health, especially now because of COVID. It hasn't really helped, but it is a really big thing.
And I guess also someone your age who lives in the world of social media, that's also another thing that has to be managed in a very specific way. Is that something you're very conscious of on how you manage your social media activities?
Yeah, obviously my parents have obviously let me have it from when I was 12, I think, which is quite young, but they put everything on private. I had everything private. And I think that actually helped me having it from when I was young. It helped me realize what's going on in the world. and it made me realize like a lot more mature now. Like when I get their messages through, I'm like, this is the people that they are there, so I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, right. And what about when you're sideline and you're watching? You talked about your parents and how good ambassadors they are for you and supporters, but do you see a lot of other parents with players being very rude and obnoxious and aggressive towards their kids?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a friend that obviously their parents are also crazy. So a lot of times I do see people as well in tournaments where the parents get more. Wait, let me just, sorry. Where their parents get more involved than them in their match. Like if the other goal calls the ball out, then the parents will be like, that's not out, and the player will end up be like, why are my parents getting involved? So they eventually like walk off the court. I've seen a lot of players actually walk off the court because of their parents, or I've seen their parents walk in the court to take the players off the court.
Wow!
So I am quite lucky.
Really, really.
Yeah, I played against a girl one time that her parents literally walked because she threw her racket. So her parents walked in the court and were like, okay, one more time and you're off. And then she started screaming at them. So they literally grabbed her by her hand and just took her to the ground. I was like, I could just hear her crying. But it was good for me. I got a win. So.
Oh, terrible. So, again, another aspect that I wanted to focus on a little bit more today was the financial side of tennis, because a lot of people who watch tennis on television, they have this distorted view that everybody who plays tennis is rich and they're traveling around the world in their private jets and all the rest of it. But it's only a very small handful that are really making the big money, isn't it? And how successful do you have to be to really earn a decent living on the tour these days?
Well, I would say to be really living off the money, you would have to be probably top 50 now.
Top 50,
now with everything that's going
top
on,
50,
especially.
Yeah?
Yeah, especially with everything that's going on now. But I do know people that obviously live off, like I've got friends that are probably 25 right now, and they're still probably top 500, but they get people helping them, like management people and stuff. But I know a lot of people that suffer from a lot of money problems, like especially like myself, when I'm going to tournaments and stuff, I'm always careful with everything because I literally just use the money that I have to try and get to the top. And I use it really carefully as well. So especially I think now, especially now because of the COVID tests and everything, it's just such a much more stress now. But I do know a lot more people that have stopped playing tennis due to financial problems. I do have friends as well that obviously we just try and always look for the cheapest thing ever, and a lot of people don't travel with their coaches. So I stopped traveling with my coaches and I started going just with my team instead of the coach as well, because we all decided that it was just going to be too much money. So it's actually stopped a lot of people excelling more and exceeding to be the best that they can be. So hopefully when I go to university, it will help me out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure. And that's one of the many reasons why we wanted you to join us on our Love Athletes program, where we're going to be giving the sports fans, people who are watching this show and following your journey, the opportunity to invest in your career and to support you. So if you're watching the show today, you're meeting Cheri for the first time because this is the first show that she's done with us. And you're going to be able to keep up to date with her journey because she's going to be posting regular content on the loveathletes.com website. And you're going to be able to see all the difficult as well as the great things that she's doing on and off the tennis court. And we want to inspire you to be able to support this young lady because she's got a bright future and we don't want her to miss out on that future just because she hasn't got the financial means. So start the journey today watching Cheri and see what's going to happen. Now you're off to the United States. It must be really exciting to go over there, to go to university and to have an opportunity to play. Have you played much tennis in the United States so far?
No, only when I went on holiday, I think it was 4 years ago, like when I was quite young. So I'm excited. I'm really excited, especially for the climate as well and everything. It's going to be a lot more different. So I'm excited.
Now, let's talk about surfaces because a lot of tennis players, they play better on certain surfaces. We know that people like Mr. Nadal is pretty famous on clay, and you've got other people that prefer the grass. What's your favourite surface, Cheri?
Well, it was really weird because when I was training in England, I moved to Spain, I was like, oh, I hate clay, I hate clay, I hate clay, because obviously in England there wasn't a lot of clay.
Yeah.
And after 6 months of training on clay, I loved it. So now it's my favorite. But obviously I do play a lot more better on hard court due to I hit the ball really hard. So obviously on clay it's slow court, where on hard it's really fast. So then if my ball's fast, then no one will probably get there. So I do prefer clay with like sliding and running. Like, I just find it a lot more creative. Like it's fun style of tennis. And hardcore, I just find it more like chippy and fast and not boring as such, because obviously I do enjoy it as well. But obviously clay is just a lot more fun.
Well, I'll tell you what, in a few months' time, when you're showing everybody what you're doing in the United States, it's going to be interesting, because you're going to be playing on a lot of hard courts over there, and it's probably going to suit your game a lot better. So you'll probably say to me next time we talk, oh, I love hard courts now, much better than clay. So I was just saying that you'll probably fall in love with playing on hard courts when you get to the US.
Yeah, I will. I'll watch it happen. I just fall in love with any other surface every time I keep on changing.
So what are you most concerned about going to the United States, starting at a university and playing tennis over there? Have you got any major concerns?
Well, obviously meeting new people. I mean, I'm quite a confident girl, so I don't think that will be quite hard for me. It's obviously just having that great connection with the coach. And I did speak to him on camera, like video call all the time. But and the reason why I did choose that university with him being there was mainly because of the connection that we had. Because I'm very like that. I like to know who I'm training with, and if he's going to be there to help me exceed. So I also look into that quite a lot. But obviously the main concern is obviously leaving my family behind here, and all my friends and stuff, and meeting new people, which I'm kind of excited as well. So.
How difficult has COVID-19 made it for somebody in your position that's trying to push along with a tennis career? Has it been very frustrating over the last 18 months?
Yeah, obviously, after the lockdown in Spain, as soon as I came out, I injured myself. So that was also quite hard for me. But luckily there wasn't enough, like I was quite lucky there, because obviously there wasn't that many tournaments. There wasn't like other people that at my level getting there and me feeling bad. However, I did feel quite upset and everything, and that was quite a really hard time for me. And now because of COVID, it is such a really hard time for people, and that's what's made me realize that I need to go to university due to financial problems and everything else with the COVID. Like, I just think it's just a really big stress just to get somewhere. Like, obviously, you don't know if the airport's going to turn you down if you bring the wrong test or out of time or anything. So I'm always like panicking just before I fly. Like, oh my God, imagine if the test is bad. So obviously it's just made me a lot more relaxed now that I'm going to America. But the COVID, I know a lot of people that due to COVID have had to stop playing tennis. A lot of boys as well that were used to be my really good friends I used to travel with, because in the academy there was not that many good girls, there's more good boys. So I always traveled with them. So eventually I knew two of my friends, their parents didn't have that much of a good job, and their grandma had COVID, and it was just a big stress, so they wouldn't let him travel, and it's just been so hard for him also. So it has affected a lot of people though, so
yeah,
it will pass.
Yeah, exactly. And we're hoping that, lots of people get vaccinated around the world, and the world can get back to something like normal, and we can all go about the things that we want to do. Now, what's your schedule when you get to the US? Are you going to be straight into playing the summer season over there at all?
Well, as soon as I get there, I have to quarantine within America, so I have to be in America for 10 days. So I'm going to my friend's house in Miami, and we will be training every day there on hard court to get me ready to play there. So hopefully it'll be good. But in the university we train quite a lot, and it's a lot of fitness, so I'm really excited for that also. It's like 4 hours in the morning, and then on the afternoon we do a bit of fitness before study, and then we have to study quite a lot as well. So I'm going to be busy, which I like.
Yeah, indeed. That sounds really cool. Now, before I let you go today, put you on the spot with a couple of quick fire questions. Who's your favourite male professional tennis player?
Rafa Nadal.
Nadal, okay. Who's your favourite female professional tennis player?
Serena Williams.
Serena. And who's your favourite all-round sports person? Professional sports person?
Oh, that one's a hard one. I would say Naomi, due to what she's going through with mental health now. I think she's been really strong about everything, to be totally honest with you, because I know a lot more tennis players that haven't stuck up for that. And that is not also, but hasn't said anything about them feeling like that. And I feel like she's just got such a good confidence to say like how she feels to everyone.
Have you been a little bit disappointed, like I have, in the response of some of the other touring professionals in response to Naomi? Because a lot of them have been asked in interviews, particularly after Wimbledon, they were asked about what they thought about Naomi's situation, and they didn't really back her up too strongly. They were quite quiet about their approach to it. Has that been disappointing for you as well?
Yeah, I mean, because all tennis players know how stuff like that feels. So I think either they were just trying to act cool or strong or something. But obviously, I do feel like Naomi is in a lot of position as well as everyone else that plays tennis. Obviously, she took it a bit more further and she's been confident to tell everyone how she feels. And yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, hopefully there's a lot of young kids watching the show today or listening to you. So what would you say to inspire them to get going in the world of tennis if they wanted to start playing tennis and maybe even become a professional? What would be some of your advice to them?
Well, I've actually always thought about a mountain while I was playing tennis, because I always saying like there's ups and downs in the match, but you'll always get to the top. And then also in life with the tour and everything, I've always said there's ups and downs, but you'll always get to the top. So that also motivated me playing tennis.
Yeah, that's a brilliant analogy to use. So there you go, everybody. If you're listening today, it doesn't matter whether you're young or not. Remember the mountain theory that Cheri has just explained to us.
Yeah.
Well, Cheri, I'm going to let you get back to the tennis court now and get training. But I want to thank you very much for, one, giving me your time today, but secondly, becoming part of our Love Athletes program, because it's going to be really exciting for the people who are watching and listening to the show today to follow your journey and to see how things go for you in the United States and to be able to support you in all the different ways that they're going to be able to do it through the Love Athletes program. So thank you very much for joining up with us. We're looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And having lots of success with you in the United States.
Thank you. I hope it all goes well also.
And we will see you again soon. So safe travels and be well in the US.
Thank you.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.
There we are, lovely young lady, Cheri Darley, from the UK originally, talking to me today from beautiful Madrid in Spain, and she's heading to the United States to take up a place at a university, to play tennis and to pursue her dream, which is to become the best women's tennis player in the world. Now, you're going to be able to perhaps help her get there by following her journey on the loveathletes.com program that we're setting up. And Cheri is one of a handful of handpicked global athletes that we've brought on board to follow their dreams and to advertise and to help their campaign through the sports fans of the world. So if you go to loveathletes.com, you'll find Cheri's page there. You can follow her journey. She's going to be posting regular content for us when she gets to the United States, and you're going to be able to help her out. There we go. So that's it. Another episode from the Global Sports Channel. Please hit the subscribe button. Follow us on social media under the Global Sports Channel, and you'll be able to follow all the content that we put out there. Well, that's it for me. My name's Mark Philpott. Stay safe, stay well, everyone. Until next time, we'll see you then.